Welcome to weekly ECG exercise case 5. This was a 78-year-old gentleman, hypertensive on tablet Ramipril, who came with complaints of severe giddiness, headache and dyspnea on exertion for past 2 to 3 hours. On admission, his blood pressure was 106/70, borderline for a hypertensive patient. This was his ECG on admission. I request you to pause the video and write down your findings and then resume the video again for the better understanding. If you grossly look at this ECG, you will know that this patient has a very slow heart rate. So let us count how much is his heart rate. Count number of R waves in lead 2, which are 6. So multiply that by 6 and you get a heart rate of 36 per minute. This is severe bradycardia. So let's see what is atria doing. That means we look at the P waves. Now the P waves in lead 1, 2, 3 and AVF are upright. That means this is a sinus rhythm. But if you look at long lead 2, you see multiple P waves. That means number of P waves outnumber number of R waves. And if you calculate the atrial rate, it is approximately 102 per minute. You calculate the atrial rate same way you calculate the ventricular rate. Here, instead of R waves, you count number of P waves in long lead 2 and multiply them by 6. Now, if you look at lead V1, you can see a typical pattern here, which is called as RS-R prime pattern, where you see 3 waves, that is triphasic pattern. Initial small R wave, followed by a deep S wave, and second spike of another R wave. This is a classical picture of right bundle branch block, and you can confirm that by looking at lead V5 and V6, where you get a small terminal broad S wave. Now, if you look at long lead 2 for P waves, some of the P waves are distinctly visible, but some of them are buried within the QRS complexes. For example, you can see the first QRS complex, second QRS complex, a third QRS complex, and for that matter, the fourth QRS complex, if you see, the P wave is buried within the QRS complex, whereas the first 3 complexes, it is very close to QRS complex. Now, the RR interval is fairly regular. Let us see what is happening to the PP interval, whether it is regular or no. Here it is fairly regular. So you have got here severe bradycardia, a fairly constant P to P interval and R to R interval, but there is no correlation between the P waves and the R waves. The P waves are beating on their own and R waves are beating on their own. That means the ventricles are beating on their own and atria are beating on their own. But still it's absolutely regular rhythm. This is called as complete AV dissociation. And you also got right bundle branch block. If I have to explain to you about exactly what happens in the heart, you see the impulse begins at SA node and after depolarizing both the atria, it goes to AV node and further travels to depolarize both the ventricles. In complete heart block, there is no transmission of this impulse from atria to ventricle. So atria beat on their own and ventricles beat on their own. Depending upon what is the QRS width, you come to know what is the escape rhythm. If the QRS is narrow, that means the initiation of the impulse is very close to AV node, infrahesian. Whereas if it is wide, that means it's a ventricular rhythm. So our patient has got complete heart block with right bundle branch block. So what are the ECG features of complete heart block? You will get bradycardia. There is a sinus rhythm. Now this is important to understand that sinus rhythm purely means P wave originates from the SA node. Hence it should be upright in limb leads. It is a regular rhythm. You will have PP and RR interval constant, but yet there is a complete AV dissociation. That means there is no relation between P and R. The atria beat on their own and the ventricles beat on their own. Hence, you have got PR interval which is changing from beat to beat. It is important, as I already told you, to look at the escape rhythm because that helps you treat the patient. So let's quickly have an approach to symptomatic bradycardia. There are symptoms of hypoperfusion or low output, giddiness, hypotension, chest pain, sweating. Now it could be regular or irregular. In both the cases, please check for P waves. If it is regular, essentially you are looking at sinus bradycardia, junctional bradycardia, 2s to 1 second degree heart block and complete heart block. And if it is irregular, It could be atrial fibrillation with a very slow rate, or it could be Mobitz type 1 and 2. Since our patient has got a regular rhythm, we will discuss about regular symptomatic bradycardia. So let's first quickly look at sinus bradycardia and junctional bradycardia. So if it is a sinus bradycardia, of course it will be a regular rhythm, but importantly, number of P waves and number of R waves, that is QRS complexes, are same. So there is one P wave for one QRS complex. Junctional bradycardia, again regular, the P waves are usually absent, but if they are present, they are inverted and are seen just before or just after the QRS complex. What about 2:1 heart block and complete heart block, which we are usually worried about when such patient comes to our clinic? In 2:1 heart block, again it is a regular rhythm, but importantly the number of P waves are exactly double the number of QRS complexes. So you will get more P waves than R waves, but they are double the number of R waves. Whereas in complete heart block, the number of P waves are far more than number of R waves. Yet the PP interval and RR interval are constant, which we call as complete AV dissociation. In both these blocks, whether it is 2:1 or a complete heart block, it is important to look at escape rhythm, that is a QRS width, especially from treatment point of view. So what you need to know in complete heart block from treatment point of view? If patient comes symptomatic, just pace him with temporary pacing, and maybe patient will need a permanent pacing. If it is a ventricular escape rhythm, that is a wide QRS, this patient for sure needs pacemaker, which is a permanent pacemaker, but initially again you may have to put a temporary pacemaker. But if the escape rhythm is narrow, that means QRS is narrow and patient is absolutely asymptomatic, you just pick it up on a routine ECG, then just a regular follow-up is required. No treatment is needed. And if the same patient is now posted for some surgery and needs anesthesia, then there's a risk of developing symptoms of hypotension and going into complete heart block with wide QRS. So you need to pace this patient with temporary pacemaker. I hope you enjoyed the video. Your comments and suggestions are valuable. Please do not forget to subscribe and click on the icon button below if you have not already done so. Do share the video with your friends and colleagues. And if you have any interesting ECGs, please send me on weeklyecgexercises@gmail.com. Thank you.